Hi everybody, Matt back with you. Hope you're okay. Todmorden is known as one of the UFO hotspots of the UK, and it's had that title for quite a few decades due to specifically two events that happened here in 1980. Now we're going to cover the stories of what happened over two videos, one today and the second one a bit further down the line. But the story today took place in June 1980. When you look around Todmorden today, you can find UFOs practically anywhere, in shop windows, in artwork, even on clothes. Todmorden's previous experience of UFOs had come about 20 years earlier, as this was where the Futuro houses of tomorrow were built, where in the 1960s it was thought that people might want to live in UFO-shaped houses. These were made in Todmorden, and one sat outside the then Abraham Ormerod Medical Centre, which is where Aldis car park is today. Today these can be found in all sorts of strange locations around the world. So our story begins on the 6th of June 1980. 20 plus miles away from here in Todmorden, in Wakefield, a place called Tingley. Zigmund Adamski was a coal miner at Loft House Colliery. He'd left his home that day, not to go to work, but to go shopping. But Adamski never returned home, and the next time he was seen, it was 5 days later, dead, on top of a pile of coal in a coal yard in Todmorden. At the back of Todmorden railway station, this area here, this was called Tomlin's Coal Yard. And on the 11th of June 1980, on top of a 10-foot high pile of coal, they discovered the body of Zigmund Adamski. When Adamski was found, the police were called. The first man on the scene was Officer Alan Godfrey from Todmorden. When he looked at the body, there were a few things that didn't quite seem right. Firstly, the fact it was on top of a 10-foot high pile of coal. Secondly, although he was still wearing his suit, his shirt had gone, as had his watch and his wallet. He'd also had some kind of really closely cropped and badly done haircut. And he also noticed that what should have been something like 5 days of stubble wasn't there, possibly a day if that. So sometime in that period of 5 days missing, Adamski must have had a shave. He also noticed that on Adamski's head, neck and shoulders it had been badly burnt, and some strange ointment had been placed on those wounds. Now when the coroner got involved, he called this one of the strangest cases and mysteries that he'd ever come across. in his many years as being a coroner. And they never discovered quite what that liquid lotion was on Adamski's neck. 43 years on, nobody knows quite what happened to Adamski. According to Godfrey, the face of Zigmund Adamski was the face of someone who died of fright. No evidence of the whereabouts of Adamski between his disappearance in Wakefield to 5 days later in the coal yard has ever been found. His location during those 5 days is a mystery. And of course it wasn't long until the newspapers picked up on the story of the UFO death in Todmorden. Strange events had already happened in Todmorden the day before Zigmund Adamski was discovered. A young couple living in Todmorden had reported that they'd heard during the night the sound of what seemed like a surge of water over the top of their house, though no water had appeared. They went outside, but all around them was thick mist. Couldn't really see anything, yet above them they could make out what they described as a pulsating light. As they watched, that light got further and further away before it disappeared altogether. Nearly 43 years later, and the world is no closer to finding out exactly what happened to Zigmund Adamski. There have of course been some possibilities put into place, like had he messed with the KGB and they had taken him out? Is it possible that he'd been hit by a freak bolt of lightning and somehow he'd crawled up on top of a coal pile 20 miles away from his house? Very unlikely. The one that does really stand out is it possible that Adamski was abducted by aliens and then somehow deposited back to Earth on top of that coal yard? The aliens are everywhere. So it wasn't the last that Todmorden experienced a UFO phenomena, because just a few months after the Adamski case, that policeman, Alan Godfrey, was to have his own brush with alien activity here in Todmorden. And that's the story for part 2. We'll see you soon.